Okay everyone, we're here. We're at the Florida Botanical Gardens and we are going to take a walk around and look at all of the beautiful plants and the gardens they have here. And we're going to see if they are growing anything here that we have planted in our community garden back at our school. So let's go inside and see what we can find. I want to stop here for a minute and take a look at this tree. This is a fig tree. Have any of you ever had the cookies called Fig Newtons? If you've had those before, the inside filling of those cookies is made from this tree. Well, from the fruit that grows on this tree. And as you can see, the figs grow very, very, very close and tight to the tree. That one's growing alone. And down here there are a bunch that are growing in clusters. Do you remember when we've been looking at our garden trying to decide if certain things are ready to be picked and eaten yet? I'm looking at these figs and I'm trying to guess which ones are ripe and ready for us to eat. As fruit is growing, it changes. And when it's ready to eat, if you remember, it changes color. The ones that are green are not quite ready to be eaten yet. But if we get a little closer and really look, the ones that are nice and dark and purple and starting to kind of ooze a little bit of sweetness, those are the ones that are ready. Oop! I see something dripping over there. I thought maybe it was some yummy sweetness, but I guess it's just the morning dew dripping off of the figs. I wish we could taste one, but they don't like us to pick anything here at the garden, which is sad because it would be really fun. All right, let's keep moving on. Ooh, here's a nice little wooden bridge we can walk across. If we follow and go this way, we're going to come to the butterfly garden. And the butterfly garden is really cool. The butterfly garden is full of all kinds of plants that attract butterflies. Why do you think it is important for plants to have the butterflies? What do you think the butterfly's job is? Does anyone want to take a guess? The butterfly's job is to spread the pollen from flower to flower. That helps the flowers to release their seeds that go into the ground that make new flowers. So butterflies are something that are important to the garden. The same way that we discussed that worms are important to keep our soil nice and rich. And that the frogs are important because they keep the bugs away. I see some butterfly decorations, but I think maybe it's too early in the morning for the butterflies now. I don't see any butterflies floating around. Oh, what's there? I see something. Oh, he's flying too fast. That is probably the biggest bumblebee I have ever seen. Oh, lost him. He's going from flower to flower to flower. I want to watch him, but I don't want to get too close because I don't want him to sting me. I'm going to chase him quietly. Oh, he's so cool. Do you see how that bumblebee is hanging on to the flower? What do you think he's doing to the flower? he's drinking the nectar out of the flower, and he's going to take that back to his hive and make honey. But while he's doing that and his feet are landing on the flower, he doesn't even know it. He's picking up that pollen on his feet. And when he moves to the next flower, he's moving the pollen over to that next flower, and he's helping the flowers to pollinate. And I think that's something that's really cool that maybe we can talk about next, is bees and honey and flowers. I think maybe that will be our next lesson. Okay, let's move on and see if we can go find the garden that has the herbs and the fruit. Okay, look, I found there's a pineapple plant growing here. And my husband makes fun of me because I thought pineapples grew on trees. And he's from Puerto Rico, where they have a lot of pineapple. And apparently pineapples do not grow on trees. But I learned they grow up out of the ground. And if you see how leafy this is, and it's kind of pointy, what does this look like to you when you think about eating a pineapple? It looks just like the top of the pineapple. So if you buy a pineapple and you cut the top off and you plant it in the ground, ow, it's pricky. Then after a while, the pineapple will start growing up here out of the top, like a flower. Do we have any pineapples growing in our garden back at school? We don't have any pineapples growing in our garden. I do have some pineapples growing at home, and I think that that would be something really neat to put in our garden. So maybe that's something we can think about adding to our garden, but we're going to have to check and see what the right time of year is to plant it. So let's put that on our list. And look at these trees. What do you think grows on these trees? Oh, let's look right here. I can't tell by looking at this, but this is a pretty big flower. Let's look over. Oh, let's look over here. I think I see them starting to come over there. What do those look like to you? They're bananas. Maybe as we look through the garden, because as I look around, I see there are a lot of banana trees here. Those are bananas. So bananas grow on trees. I wonder if that's something we can plant in our garden. Do you think we could fit one of these banana trees in our garden? Oh wait, let's look over here. Ta-ha. Here are some bananas that are really getting closer to being ripe. They're getting much, much bigger. And it looks like there are all different kinds of bananas. Here's a sign here that tells us what kind of banana this is. It's the San Moreno banana. Wow. I think maybe that's something we can put in our garden. But I see something cool over here that I want to show you. There's that banana leaves in our garden. It's like going through the jungle on a bear hunt. Does this look like something that we had in our classroom recently? It looks very familiar. Does anyone want to take a guess of what it is? Can anyone read the sign? It's sugar cane. It's sugar cane. And that is the very same sugar cane that we got to taste in our classroom. And that's the same sugar cane that they used to make the sugar cane syrup that we tasted. And that sugar cane syrup was made right here at the Heritage Village that's right next door. But do you see, this is what it looks like when it grows up out of the ground. It grows straight up out of the ground, and it's all nice and green at the top. And then you cut it at the bottom when you're ready to use it, and you take it and go through the process that we talked about. Okay, let's keep walking. You can stop it. Oh, I see something over there. What do those look like? Who wants to guess what this tree has? They look like oranges. The sign says it's a fruit salad tree. What on earth is a fruit salad tree? Oh my goodness. The sign says that this one tree grows Valencia oranges, navel oranges, and the Myers lemon all on one tree. I have never heard of anything like that before. But these trees are full of fruit. Full of fruit. That's really interesting. I'd like to learn some more about that. As we're walking along, we come to some blueberry bushes. It's not time for blueberries though, because it's December. And those bushes will be ready with some nice ripe blueberries probably around June. Because remember, we talked about different things growing at different times of the year. As we come over here, there's a beautiful vine with some wonderful yellow flowers. And it says that this is the loofah gourd. Let's see if there are any gourds growing on this vine. No, I see one down there. Do you remember our pepper plants back at the school? They get the big, beautiful flowers, and then the peppers start to grow out from the ends. And you can see there where that gourd still has a little bit of the flower at the end. And here are some flowers falling off, which means the gourds are going to start growing. And if we move this leaf, we can see there's a loofah gourd growing right there. The loofah gourd is something that's really cool, but we don't actually eat it. When that gourd is ripe, you take it and you put it in a pot of boiling water and you take the skin off. And inside there's a sponge you can use to wash yourself when you take a bath. And some of you may actually have some loofah sponges at home that you use. Maybe that would be another nice project for us to do in our class, is to get some loofah gourds and make our own loofah sponges. Wouldn't that be a really cool gift for you to make your parents for the holidays? All right, let's keep moving on. Ooh, there's a bench. Maybe we can sit down and take a rest for a minute. All right, we're off to find the herb garden. I love these shells we're walking on. I love that crunch, crunch noise. All right, now we're moving on to the path again. I hear the birds. Do you hear the birds? We can listen for frogs too. Remember, when you hear birds and frogs, it's a sign that you're in a healthy environment. Wait a minute. I don't hear the birds anymore. I don't hear any frogs, but I hear something. What am I hearing? Sounds like something. I think it's coming from this way. Let's go this way. Let's go left. Oh! It's a waterfall. And a water garden. So plants don't only grow in the dirt. They can grow in the water. Remember, we've talked about how some plants need only a little bit of water, and those are the plants that are best for our yards. And some plants need a lot of water. I'm guessing that these plants need a lot of water, since they're growing in the water. Okay, let's keep looking for that herb garden. There it is. It's right behind us. Okay, who can remember the herbs that we are growing in our garden right now? We are growing some mint. What else are we growing? Some basil. We're going to make a spaghetti sauce with that basil. We are going to, let's see. Which way should we go? Let's go right. You want to go right? We'll go right. So in our garden, we are growing basil. We are growing mint. Does this look like the mint that we're growing in our garden? Apparently there's a lot of different kind of mint. There's spearmint. There's peppermint. Here's a different kind of spearmint called the Kentucky Colonel Spearmint. Here's some more peppermint. Oh, I guess that one is regular peppermint. That sign says Blackstein peppermint. And we have orange mint, Egyptian mint, and apple mint. Which one do you think is the one that's growing in our garden back at the school? You're right, it is spearmint. We have spearmint growing in our garden back at school. So that's the kind of mint that we have. Okay. Oh, look! Picnic benches. I think I've just found a place that we can stop and eat our lunch. Whew. Okay, that was a good rest. Let's keep... Ooh! Wait a minute. I haven't seen a tree like this before. What is this? Wow. That's a fruit I haven't seen before. I wonder what it tastes like. The sign says that it is called a Buddha's hand. Has anyone ever had a Buddha's hand before? I've never had one before. I wonder if we can buy them at the grocery store or at the farmer's market. I wonder if we can grow them in our garden. I wonder what they taste like. I sure am getting a lot of ideas as we're visiting this garden. I think we have a lot of new projects coming up. This is really cool. Lunch was delicious. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. Look at the sign that says Holiday Lights. We can get some brochures to give your parents. You can come back here at night when it's dark, and everything is lit up nice and beautiful. Well, we sure have had a fun day here at the Florida Botanical Gardens. I think we're going to go back to our classroom and talk about some of the things that we've seen today and what our plans for future projects are going to be. Thank you for coming with me. Okay. Look at the beautiful bird bath. I think we're up even before the birds today. So let's see. We are growing basil. We are growing spearmint. We are also growing rosemary. I just heard another bird. Do you hear that bird? I hear the bird, but I don't see the bird. Let's look over here. Do you see anything else that might be growing in our garden? This looks familiar. That is cilantro. Yes, we are growing cilantro in our garden. There's parsley. We also have some oregano growing in our garden. We have sage growing in our garden. Here's some basil. Wait a minute, that basil doesn't look like our basil. And there are those bumblebees again. This basil has gotten very, very ready to eat. And it's actually past ready to eat because now it is flowering. It's putting out its flowers and it's ready to make some new plants. Wow, I see different bumblebees. How many different kinds of bumblebees do you see right now? This is so cool. They're really busy at work. I'm counting 1, 2, 3 different kinds of bees. I think my favorite is that big fat bee. He looks so cute. I don't want to get too close though because he is busy working and I certainly do not want him to sting me. Bees don't like to be interrupted when they're working.